Hey guys, Dr. Phil here with Element 26. So I wanted to talk about is the warm up because there's a lot of uh, conflict or debate in the field of physical therapy, strength and conditioning, fitness, training, everything, really life about what is a warm up and what is it supposed to do. And it's going to be different for every single person. So remember that. So if it's a CrossFit athlete or if it's a bodybuilder, it's going to be completely different. Now, take those two examples for instance. So you have the bodybuilder. Bodybuilder is going to focus mostly on just movement prep, getting their tissues opened up, maybe doing some foam rolling, stimulating some of those baroreceptors, the pressure receptors, and just getting more mobility, just being able to say that get the pecs open so they can actually do flies or bench or whatever's going to stimulate their weak spots. And then for CrossFit athlete, you might have to use a little bit more cardio, and it's pretty straightforward. But a lot of people don't understand is that every time it's going to be different. A bodybuilder doesn't have to increase their heart rate as much because they don't have to prep their whole body for a whole bunch of continuous work through a whole WOD set. That's why that becomes so much more important for a CrossFit athlete to increase their work capacity or to increase their heart rate and blood flow beforehand. Now let's look at the three important pieces that usually come with a warm-up, and that's increasing mobility. And they do this via movement, dynamic stretching, going through a range of motion, usually preceding this with foam rolling or lacrosse ball or any sort of pressure that's going to open up those tissues and provide a feedback to the brain that, hey, it's safe, it can stretch a little bit and actually be better under load. And then I think I had providing motion and stretching, same thing, dynamic motion or static stretching. You can do some static stretching, it depends on the person. Sometimes it feels good and allows you to open your hips up and get to that position. So, static stretching is not bad. Static stretching is basically holding, I'm going on my knee and I'm holding a hip flexor stretch. Sorry about that. Holding a hip flexor stretch for a period of time. And a lot of people hate on that as well. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all part of the warm-up. And then increasing blood flow is another huge component of the warm-up, especially for someone who's doing a little bit more, such as a CrossFit athlete. It's great for a bodybuilder too, but it's, on the totem pole of things to do, it might be second to mobility. Unless they're doing, because they're probably doing some cardio. Maybe they're doing cardio that day. They're going to be, it might be lower intensity, it might be higher intensity. If it's higher intensity for a bodybuilder, then they should, maybe proceed their workout with a good warm up. Pretty straightforward. And the increasing blood flow by doing a more movement based warm up and maybe even hopping on the elliptical is going to increase the ability to do work once you've hit a good heart rate level. And once you hit that level, your body's able to accept more load. And that's actually the third point I had. So it was increasing mobility, increasing blood flow, increasing heart rate and respiration. Those two things are key. The blood flow and the heart rate are key because what happens when you increase those two things is you're allowing your body to accept stress. And look at stress as a good thing in this sense because stress is what you do to your body every time you work out. Every time you lift weights, every time you run, every time you jump, you're stressing the system. Now, a bad time when you have stress is if it's chronic and it lasts a very long time. So saying if you were, not eating enough and pounding your body into the ground over a period of like a month and just not sleeping, not recovering. That's the physical, that's from only a physical perspective. Don't even, mental and psychological is also related, but for this video, I'm just talking about physical stress. So if you were to continuously pound your body into the ground. But if you just have a short-term acute stress to the body via a nice warm-up, your body is able to accept what you're doing in the actual workout. So all of these things are very important when doing the warm-up. But remember to summarize, the warm-up has to be specific to the person doing it. CrossFit, bodybuilder, weightlifter, power lifter, whatever you may be, especially for Element 26 guys who are all athletic weightlifters, making sure that you're warming up that tissue and providing some sense of feedback to the muscles, to the tendons, to allow it to open up and feel safe again, so you can achieve that proper range of motion. And then if you're doing a little bit more, just making sure you have enough blood flow so your body can accept that stress and that mobility. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Get out of there. You can contact me at support@element26.co, not .com, and visit us at the Athletic Weightlifter Facebook group. It's a great community with all sorts of athletes with different backgrounds, from powerlifting to weightlifting to CrossFit to even to the Marines. We have Army veterans, and we have even active servicemen and women as well. So check that out. A lot of doctors in that group too. And thank you for listening.